Hey everyone, welcome to the Heroes World Quarantine podcast. We are back again with a new assortment of people. We are here today to talk about Namor the Sub-Mariner. So the background here, Pat has some toys, Joey's rocking a t-shirt. So thank you everyone for supporting, liking, sharing the podcast. We appreciate everything that you are all doing. So we are here, of course, to talk about one of Marvel's underappreciated properties, Namor the Sub-Mariner. So
Stu's boy.
We're going to talk about two things today. We are doing a fan cast. So we're going to draft actors to be Namor the Sub-Mariner and one of his villains. And then we're going to talk about our favorite Namor moment in comic books. So that is the two things that we are going to talk about today.
Andre looked shocked. He didn't.
I thought it was our favorite Namor moment, period. I didn't think it had to be. But that's okay.
Andre's playing the role of John this week.
Andre's going to be fine. So let's walk through the order today.
I like all of it. I like all of it, especially when he's the main part of the story. That's what he's going to say.
So we have a lot of options. Don't worry. Our order today is going to be Andre, Pat, Joey, Rob, John, and myself. But before we jump into the order, let's talk a little bit about Namor the Sub-Mariner. So people at home are wondering why Namor the Sub-Mariner. Rob was like, what is going on? I think it's important to show that Namor is in the long-term plans of the MCU. In Iron Man 2, there was a map showing Wakanda, and there was also a bip on an area of Atlantis. So they were planning this out years and years before. And in the Marvel movie, of course, was it Endgame? They talk about there's, a blip in the water, and they're like, maybe we should look into that. It's like, it's water. Who cares? Don't worry about it.
They're like, no, we're already at like 2 hours plus. We don't have time for that.
So there's a lot of foreshadowing that they've been doing for Namor the Sub-Mariner. So let's briefly go on to a few bullet points so people have a history of Namor, and then we're going to jump into Andre's first pick. So Namor the Sub-Mariner, of course, Namor was one of Marvel's first heroes. He appeared back in 1939 in Marvel Comics #1. So this is kind of a big deal.
Pat has two action figures, not just one.
Pat has two action figures. In terms of who came first, Namor or Aquaman, Namor predates Aquaman by 2 years. So he existed before Aquaman. So we put that to rest. In terms of Marvel crossovers, Namor was the first comic book character to cross over with another character, and that happened between him and Human Torch. So it was the first quote-unquote crossover event. In terms of Namor being the first mutant ever seen in the Marvel Universe, so there's a tie-in. I know Andre's been chomping the bit to bring in X-Men, but the first thing we'd start would be a good idea to start with Namor. He has been a member of everybody. So he's been an X-Men. He's been an Avenger. He's been a founding member of the Defenders. He's been part of the Illuminati. He can speak every language on the planet in terms of abilities. He can fly with his little wings on his feet. And he fought with Captain America in World War I. What, Rob? He fought for our freedoms, damn it.
He's also he's also one of the dumbest heroes per Marvel's own page. His intelligence is rated 2 out of 10.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be super smart. Wolverine's not very smart either, yet the world loves Wolverine.
He's lazy. John, do you have that photo?
So let's
yeah, I'm bringing up the photo.
Before you slander.
No, because look at this guy. His energy level, he's lazy. I have about as much energy as Namor does. All right? That he just around in his pool.
Wait, hang on. That's not what these mean.
That's not. Yeah, Pat, please. Energy is like energy projectile weapons. Yes, he doesn't shoot beams from his hand. I think Rob, you shoot no lasers.
Have you ever bought a Marvel trading card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's.
This could be backwards. This portion could be out of 3.
I don't think so.
So
if you ever bought a Marvel trading card, they would tell you what those mean.
So Rob doesn't understand the context of how the scaling works. So we're gonna let that go.
Buy some trading cards.
I have some, Pat. I'm gonna get.
It's not the energy he uses. Anyways, okay. So and finally, few final fun facts about Namor the Sub-Mariner. He, of course, was created by Bill Everett, and he has a catchphrase which is the best, Imperious Rex. So he will yell that in the midst of battle or jumping. So
stupid thing.
Rob is so salty.
Stop hating.
I'm taking the role of Andre this week. I just dumb. Imagine that you're going into battle. Imperious Rex, get out of here. How about let's go for a swim?
Do you know what that would mean for me? If I was one of his low-level lackeys standing in line and he yells that, my God, it'd be pumped. It would be as awesome as if I was standing next to like
America.
Yeah, like said, in the middle of battle.
He says, "Avengers Assemble."
Dude, Imperious Rex is better than its clobbering time.
That is true.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Whoa,
All I'm saying is that hearing Imperious Rex sound like something Josh Gad would say before he dives into a buffet. All right, like
you know what it means?
He does not, Andre. He does not. I can tell you right now, he does not. Rob, what does Rob know? Rob doesn't even know what energy is. So let's Andre, please educate us because Rob knows nothing.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Stu. What number would you give a lazy Cyclops? Like Cyclops, what number?
Wasn't Cyclops at one point given like a 6 for energy or 6 or 7?
Well, that means he's just not lazy. He doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
Yeah. Andre, yeah, what does Imperious Rex mean?
It's the battle cry of like, I am the leader, Imperious Rex. I am the emperor. I am the king. Right? So it's like indomitable, just it's badass.
Andre, it's still not better than clobbering time.
It kind of is.
It is better than clobbering time.
I think it's kind of better than time.
Hey, you know what? I'm like literally.
I guess because the bad guys are like, what is that?
Yeah, like
boom.
Not since Gladiator when Russell Crowe pointed, unleash hell. On my order, unleash hell.
Yes.
Like it's the same as Imperious Rex. Like when he yells Imperious Rex, I'm ready to go.
Nope, sounds like he's looking for dinosaur fossils. That's what it sounds like.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump to the casting part because we're giving context. Andre, I want you to give us your 2 actors and a little idea of the plot that you'd like to do, or you could do whatever.
What was the rule again that Andre was supposed to cast?
Andre was cast the actor to play Namor, the villain, and a little bit of the plot.
Okay.
Teaser, yes.
It was supposed to be Namor and Attuma, but I think Attuma is super lame. So I picked a couple different guys, but let's go with Namor first. I'm gonna prop up my share screen.
This is the Tuma.
Yeah,
he's lame. He's too lame. But here's my pick for Namor coming up, and it is Luke Ross.
Ooh.
All right. So
Gaston.
There we got a couple of picks of Namor, and this
Luke Evans, you mean Luke Evans, not Luke Ross.
Sorry, Luke Evans. Sorry, my bad. I don't know actors, whoever this dude is.
Yeah.
Gaston.
I like this guy in the Fast and the Furious movies. I think if you just look at that picture, he's got that. We got to shave his little mustache because Namor's not doing that. He also looks good with long hair. But I think he can do that kind of arrogant son of a bitch that Namor is. And it's not going to be Speedo clad Namor. It's going to be Namor looking kind of more sinister, because I think that's what Namor is. He's got
look at that suit. Look at him rocking that suit.
But yeah, also I'm choosing the era of Namor, which was the John Byrne run, where he runs Oracle, and he's like this powerful CEO, and he's just had enough with the surface world. And that brings me to my next casting of the villains. Okay, so Attuma, again, too easy. I don't want this movie to be like the Aquaman movie, right? So the bad guy, Rock, and we're gonna cast Pierce Brosnan as Hugh Jones, and their experiment is gonna be Orca, the living human orc. By Bill Goldberg. That's my pick. I have some other plots in there, but I went too far with my cast.
That's great. That's a good start, Andre. That's a good start.
This way we've got the corporations. And I see Namor, like, Rob said he's dumb, but he's actually pretty I want to show that side of him, kind of like, the Thomas Crown affair. You're going to have some of this corporate back and forth because the Marvel movies have just been punch kick. Let's get some other stuff. Let's get some corporate espionage. Let's get some environment.
To be fair, Rob once said that it's not about the actor, it's about the writer. So it's just like that. Namor could get written as a smart person or a dumb person, but don't take my word for it. I think that's what Rob said specifically. So carry on. Perfect. That was a really good start, Pat.
So if I ever need to cast a Namor movie, I would pick Zachary Quinto. I actually had a discussion with somebody about this, and not only does he look like a little bit like Namor, he is like because the thing is, the Namor I actually don't really consider him a hero. Right, and I think Zachary Quinto can do a good job playing like the kind of villainy, sinister-y kind of role.
Yeah.
He just has to make sure he's completely clean shaven. If he's completely clean shaven, his skin is kind of pale because if you're underwater, UV light, so you shouldn't be. Yeah, like something like that.
Is he Styler from Heroes?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Styler from Heroes.
And Spock. Yeah.
It's from the new Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
And for somebody who would play Attuma, want to cast it to him. Whoever he is, he's going to be blue anyway, so skin color doesn't matter. So I actually would pick Idris Elba. I think he has that, like, because the thing is, you can't pick somebody, right? But you also can't pick, you have to pick somebody lean, because by definition, all those Atlanteans, none of them are gigantic monsters by trade. They're kind of like, unless they're modified or genetically modified, they're just really lean dudes.
Yeah.
Right? So that's you give them a kind of a blue.
I really like how Pat and Rob are really leaning into putting black people as the villains. So that's awesome. That's really, really good.
A blue villain.
A blue villain.
Honestly, Andre, I wanted to use John Cena again, but I used John Cena last week.
It was made black. It's okay, I get it.
Jobs are jobs, Andre. Jobs are jobs. So,
right? Jobs are jobs. Sure.
you gotta cash them checks, as they would say. Yeah.
The villain is cool. The villain is a cool character. Just in general, like an actor, like Jet Li made a really cool villain. Like I'd say he played a better villain than he did play the hero.
For my plot, I actually think, as a John Byrne fan, I think I want to do something like what Andre would say. Something where he's not just running around underwater punching people.
Yeah.
He would be trying to rid the world of pollution with all the money that he found from his undersea salvaging throughout Atlantis or something. Which was probably his better times.
Nice.
Right. So here's Rex.
Good. All right, Joey. It is your time to shine.
Sure. Well, one, I already think Andre's gonna hate me for this one.
Oh, exciting.
We're not gonna discuss Denzel. Understood. Third, oh my God, I have been racking my brain of like how are we gonna make Attuma interesting?
Don't.
What is he gonna do? What is gonna be his like big thing that he does? And I really couldn't think of it, but I did think of a look, and I did think of a personality, and it's only because I really liked it. It worked for Marvel before. It can't happen, but it's gonna be Winston Duke for me.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know how you feel about that, but with me, it's because I mean he's so uninteresting that you're gonna need someone who has kind of like a suave humor.
Yep.
You know, someone who kind of is very nonchalant, like very like laissez-faire about their humor, and I think that guy could do it. Mm-hmm. You know, mind you, I can't think of a plot at all for him. It's a ridiculous thing. However, and I don't know if this works out at all, but I think I'm really going based on looks and based on things that he's done before. But Zac Efron.
No!
Oh,
yeah! Boy, back in. No, I'm sorry.
We're back.
Look, I have a picture of him on file already.
Don't worry.
I really did. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him, you know?
Yeah.
All you have to do is fix his eyebrows.
But Joey, question to you. If you had a choice between him as Human Torch or him as Namor, what would you pick him as?
I don't think
I
would
Wolverine.
Torch though. He's not tall enough to be the Human Torch for me.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
I never say that about guys. Pat, you know this. You know, like I know. Like I think someone
height matters.
Height does matter. Yeah. So.
Well, Robert Downey does not. He just wears lifts. Technically, that's all they do, right? Because they just wear lifts. So Robert Downey has 3 inches that he wears on his shoes that are platform shoes to get him taller. So technically, height doesn't matter in Marvel. But I think the charisma for him, I feel it's interesting because Namor is not really a charismatic person, and Zac Efron would have to hold it back in a little bit more than normal. He couldn't go full suave, but I like it. It's a good pick.
No, I think like he has a physique for it. I can't have a Namor that's obviously too bulky. You know, I think that would be really weird. I think he has like all his movies for his physique anyway, right? And I think that would work out really well. But then that kind of that also makes me think of aesthetics aside and all that kind of stuff. Like, could he pull off the personality? I think he could.
I think he could. Yeah.
He's a pretty versatile actor, so I think that would work out.
Okay. All right. And your storyline, what is your storyline? Because you kind of glossed over it. I saw what you did there.
Anything that has to do, and I know I'm going to like shoot myself on this one, but anything that has to do with Namor taking Sue Storm. Anything. Like, that's what I want. Because
the first 3 years of Stan Lee's run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I take your girl.
I need him to just like cuck it out. Like, that's it. You know, and like completely like
lose his mind. Yeah,
people about Sue Storm if they haven't read that run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was good. Rob, it is up to you now to start.
All right,
Robert.
So for the actor of Namor, I'm going with Henry Golding.
That was my pick too. So good job.
Oh no,
that was good.
No.
Yes, it's you.
Yeah,
that was great. Yeah,
I think he would make a great Namor. Even though I think Namor is dumb. For Attuma.
Whoa, slow down.
Attuma, listen, I don't really know much about Attuma, so I'm based on the photos I saw online. I kind of agree with Andre. He looks just like crap. But I'm gonna go with a CGI mocap, right? Because I mean, better than painting the dude blue. I went with Jason Isaacs because I think you need somebody who's got some serious gravitas to play, right? And because it's gonna be mocap, it doesn't make a difference of what he actually looked like. So here, okay, just because there you go. Okay, so I think
you have to act it out, man. You can't just read it. You got to act it out, man.
With my broken Voltron Lego set. No. Okay, so I just put, as the human race evolved, went off course and stumbled upon the lost city of Atlantis. The protector of Atlantis, Attuma, enlists Prince Namor to find and destroy the subs and their occupants. Attuma wants a war with the humans and manipulates Namor to lead the charge, but the attack on Howard Stark. So for Howard Stark, I'm bringing back Dominic Cooper. I'm also bringing back Dr. Abraham Erskine, Stanley Tucci, because in Captain America, the First Avenger, we saw that Easter egg with the Human Torch, okay? So after the threat for Namor and Attuma, and fearing for the safety of civilization, Stark and Erskine create an android. Because to fight, I put this down. To fight water, you require fire. So they create Jim Hammond, the android known as the Human Torch. And who's going to play the Human Torch? Armie Hammer.
Got it. So okay, I'll let that one slide. Okay, Andre.
So the Human Torch and Namor battle it out with pure rage and hatred until Namor learns that he himself is half human. His father was human. He relents and tries to stop Attuma from commencing the war, and the Torch team up to battle and stop Attuma. So that's kind of, but he's still the anti-hero, so he essentially still distrusts humans and agrees to go back and protect Atlantis. And he stays there until Thanos snaps half of the Atlanteans away, which was mentioned in Endgame. Yep. And Namor thinks that the humans have caused this, and this builds his army to invade. So that was the blip in the radar that the Wakandans said that they had noticed. So Namor and his army are coming. So that's the plot.
Nice. Those are very,
I like
very
how you
nice
presented it like you were in a grade school presenting a science project. And then conclusion.
In conclusion, I just made Namor fucking cool. All right, that's what I just did.
He was always cool. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you took it seriously. All right.
Everything about that was cool except for the creating fire to water part. That just
listen, it's cheesy as hell, but I had to get my boy in there, right?
Science is different in Marvel. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Army Hammer is fine. All right, carry on. All right. Perfect. Thank you. John, it is up to you. Now the moment of truth.
Do you want to go first, Stu?
No, you got to go. I have a list. I have more.
Okay. I thought maybe you only had Keanu on deck or something like that.
I have more.
Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
John, are you picking him? Because if not,
no. I actually I took this very seriously, and
he's the worst character ever.
Here comes Tyrese.
I would love to cast Tyrese in this. Okay, so I casted my boy, the Wu assassin himself. Many of you probably don't know him, Louis Tan.
I knew it.
I
knew it.
So you know
that was my pick too.
He was in Into the Badlands.
Yep.
And a bunch of other movies.
Iron Fist.
Wu assassins. Was he in Iron Fist?
Yeah, he played the drunken
master.
Yeah. Because I figured this movie is going to go heavily into hand-to-hand combat, and Louis Tan can handle any type of martial art. He's very fluid looking. He can rock a weapon no problem, so he can make a spear or trident look cool. And then I basically just had to pick someone who could go toe to toe with him. Like the other guys, I don't really know this Attuma Hakuna Matuna guy.
Wow.
But he was described as a barbarian like looking dude with a very high fighting ability. So I basically with Lewis, and that is Scott Adkins. I don't know if you know him. He was in an Expendables movie. He plays a really good villain, and he can fight like a mofo. He can here look, even look here. I blew him up. Look at
that. Wow, good one.
Wow, way to go, John.
Good one, John.
So these two guys could demolish the screen, combat wise, choreography wise. They would just destroy it. And yeah.
But how good?
You want to hear my plot?
Yes, please, John, go for it.
My plot. Out there now. So this is part of my Marvel U rom-com series. Approach. Yes. So Namor, Notorious Womanizer, it's going to be a rom-com where he learns the error of his ways of all this womanizing and things like that. But the catch is going to be, I'm going to throw Invisible Woman in there, and the catch of the movie is she's going to be invisible the whole time. So you'd never see her. So it's going to be like a Fight Club like thing where you're just like, was she even there? Was it in his head?
I'm sorry,
you don't know. You don't know.
How are you working the love scenes, John? How are you working the love scenes?
Yeah, and then
First off, with COVID-19, there are no love scenes anymore. It's all simulated. So you can do whatever you want because there won't be any love scenes for a while.
Oh, that's so awkward. Oh God, I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
Nobody can. That's the whole point.
Great. That's great. Okay.
You won't know.
Yep. Is that it, John? That's your pitch? Okay.
That's it. It's gonna be a blockbuster.
You made Namor a crazy guy who may be imagining a woman.
Maybe she was there and he learns his lesson in the end and becomes a good guy.
Did you guys not see The Intelligence? It was number 2.
2 is probably the scale for a normal person.
Yeah, so
the Marvel universe goes from a scale of 2.
Rob, without context, we don't even know what 2 means in context. Who's a 0? Who's a 1? So we need more data.
I'll admit Namor is probably not a test taker. He's a street smart guy.
Yeah.
In the water.
I'm pretty sure
he's not studying.
He was tutored by the best Atlantis can offer.
Yes. Let's also recognize that he speaks every language on the planet. So I don't know how many languages you speak, Rob,
It's not
but
suspicious.
more than 2 is already gives you, a few advantages. My French is awful, so my Chinese is bad, so I don't even think I get a 1. So
How's your
that's
whale?
the case.
My whale.
So, there we go. Okay, so it's funny.
Orca.
So I guess it's my turn. It's funny that you guys.
I can't believe you would even have Louis Tan. I was no one
he
is
was
aware
my
of
number
this
2
guy.
choice. So my number 1
Yeah.
choice was
Yep.
Henry Goulding. My number 2 was Louis Tan, and number 3 was, I think, for your choices, someone British is a good idea, because you can say a lot of gobbledygook and it seems very royal, and it seems that anything Atlantean prince, if you say something with an accent, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, carry on. It's something that makes sense. But my guy third is I'm gonna go with Keanu. That's it, because you guys made
So old, man.
Sorry.
He's old. We gotta. He's.
What does it? First
Age
off,
him.
Keanu does not age.
Keanu doesn't age. Keanu looks great. And you want what we're gonna give him a lot of. He's underwater, so everything in HD is gonna make sense perfectly. But in terms of the Sue Storm portion of it, and you need a character, as Joey mentioned, that other women would even consider being with, and Keanu is a good-looking gentleman who's tall, who can do martial arts, who can be someone where a woman would be like, maybe, like really think about long and hard about Keanu Reeves.
I just thought about it now, and maybe.
If he's an option, you're like, maybe Keanu's. So I think at that standpoint, you need someone with that base level of. Also, we've talked about he's a character that is bipolar. He gets an anti-hero. He can be good. He can be bad, depending on how long he spends in the water or above ground. That's something that we don't really touch upon on the storylines. But I think there's a fine line that you have to go through, and that's something that even Louis Tan, what I was looking at, that's one of my points too. I also wanted to look at someone who, if we cast a Reed Richards who is also older, that we did in the previous episode, you need someone that also fits that level, who can speak toe to toe with someone like Chadwick Boseman in Wakanda, because they have a very interesting relationship as well, both him and Black Panther. So you need someone with the gravitas. So you need someone older, because if there's too young, then he gets pushed around by all the parts of the Illuminati, because he has to be able to stand up to Iron Man, to Professor X, to Black Bolt.
Chadwick's kind of older too, isn't he?
Chadwick's like 44, 45.
Yeah,
he's also an old. He's almost in his 50s, Chadwick. So he's again an older guy. So that is my thing. I picked.
Okay, can you cast Randall Park as Attuma now?
No,
he didn't.
I am.
Alex Winter.
I am not.
He casted Alex Winter.
I'm casting this gentleman as my.
Oh, visual aid from Stu.
Did you see it? Is he there?
Wow.
So Joel Everington is my Attuma. He is a character. He is a very well-rounded actor. He can fight. He can do all the parts that I want him to do. He has worn makeup in previous movies as well. But in terms of, he's British, of course. He was in Star Wars for that few minutes of scenes. But in terms of fighting, in the movie, was that the movie Fighting that he was in with
The Fighter?
So him and Tom Hardy were Fighter. So he also, I saw him with Timothée Chalamet in that Netflix King. He was great, but he was
Bright. He was the orc in Bright, right?
Yes, he was. He has a lot of range, and he was also in Loving, which is an incredible movie that people should watch if they haven't seen already. But
never heard of it.
No, of course. So my storyline is that he's going to put a coup d'etat. Namor is established as king, and he's going to go behind the scenes to put up the other leaders of Atlantis to say, hey, this guy spent too much time on Earth. He doesn't have Atlantis's interest in line, and he is going to basically challenge Namor for leadership of Atlantis. So it's just basically overthrow. So while Namor's on the Earth, land doing stuff, he's like, yep, now it's the time, and all's clear, and just gonna take over Atlantis. So he's gonna have that level fighting skill. He can fight, so I think that would be good for him and Keanu to duke it out. So that is not without giving too much a nice way, because we never really talk about how much Namor spends on land, but it's a substantial amount of time in order for him to balance out his equilibrium. So that is
and to dry off his little weird wings on his ankles.
That's his mutant power.
Yeah, it's his mutant power. You gotta leave him alone, man. You gotta leave him alone. Okay.
No, I don't.
So that is our first round. So great job, everyone, on that. We are now going to move into our favorite Namor moment in comic books. So
does it have to be one specific moment, or can it be like a general issue?
I'll give you some flexibility. I'll give you some options. But I would ideally either in one storyline or one book would be ideal.
If it's John, it's one panel.
One panel. I'll give you one panel
Guaranteed.
if you want to stretch it out. But Andre, we're gonna give you first crack at this.
All right. So let me get my.
I was like, wait, for real?
Namor does not discriminate. You gotta.
So this is from the recent House.
Oh no!
And basically, this whole panel, this one page, just encapsulates.
Don't put it too long. Copyright.
Basically, Professor X says, "Hey, you're welcome to join us on Krakoa, and we'd love to have you." And blah blah blah. And Namor is just like, "Yo, I don't need you guys.
Yeah,
you don't need me, and you really are now just coming to the conclusion that you are better than humanity." He's like, "You don't believe that. I do. Come back to me when you're on my level." And that level of just arrogance and self-belief and self-worth is exactly what Namor is. So if you want to understand that character, the guy is, I think he's more righteous than Doom. He believes and is rightfully so thinking that he's superior than most people that walk the earth, because he's the
Look
king
at his
of this
throne.
and he holds his own on in the water. So this one page, give it up to Hickman. Just bang. This is Namor. Boom, right here. One panel. Like, he tells Professor X, the strongest mind, strongest mutant out there, just get the hell out of my place and come back when you're my equal, because you're not. And it's just like, yeah, bang, Namor right there.
Yeah. Good one, Andre. Good one.
Yeah, that is House of X number 5.
House of X number 5. Yeah.
He tells Professor X to F off.
Yep.
Can I share one other quick moment, Stu? You're gonna appreciate this one.
No, because you might steal someone's moment. We'll give you to the end. In case
you can circle back.
It's nobody else's moment. Okay?
Oh, if it is, Andre, you're gonna buy me something afterwards.
Okay, hold on a second.
What do you mean you ended there? All right.
Technical difficulties, but here, you'll appreciate this one. Tactic double shot, baby. Overpower card. Play with Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Namor teams up for a single attacker defense. I actually won games using this card back in the day. So all my
it requires a 6 intellect to use. So
that's Doom's intellect. That's Doom's intellect.
That's Doom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Dr. Doom's intellect. Namor is the strength, the fighting. Namor's fighting. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Carry on. That's perfect. Somewhere, if you didn't hear, Arun just shed a tear as we talked about overpower. So shed a tear. All right, Pat, it is up to you.
So my favorite moment,
Do you need the
I
picture?
guess.
Imperious Sex picture?
I was able to find that issue. But really, really early, like I said, I think Namor is a Fantastic Four villain at heart for the purposes of his existence. And my favorite Namor moment is way back during his during the Stan Lee run. I don't know if I can share this, but there was one issue where he finds out. Can you see it? That the Fantastic Four are Baroque. Yeah. And he finds out the Fantastic Four are Baroque, and he is chilling in his Atlantis throne, and he sees on TV that they're Baroque. So what he does is, if you notice, they're all penniless. Well, this may be the opportunity he's waiting for. So what he does is
he tries to steal your girl?
Mr. Steal Your Girl, he tricks the Fantastic Four into believing he's funding a movie for them, right? He sends individual. He splits up the Fantastic Four by sending them to different like shooting locales, and then he just beats them up individually.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah. And then like
if they fall for this, Reed Richards intellect must be 3 or 2.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, this is the first. This is like.
Listen, get this off the screen. It looks like he's on the toilet.
That's what I'm saying. He's
using the 3 shells.
Atlantis throne. His Atlantean throne.
That seems like a lazy boy. It's not a throne. It's different. Yeah. That's his couch.
Even the context of like the 60s and 70s when broke was because he put his money in the stock market. Legit.
Yeah.
Legit. This was during Stan Lee's run. He put his money in the stock market for making his inventions. He lost it all when it crashed. Boom. He has no money. And Namor came in and tried to steal Sue Storm by making them baroque.
Nice.
It didn't work, but still, it was sweet. It was fun.
Because Sue's not a material girl. That's fine.
Yeah, well,
that we know. All right.
Stop with your Madonna references, John. Please.
That was great. Joey, it is your turn. So go for it.
To join this craziness.
This was the cover. I don't know if you guys see it.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay, let Joey go. This is her time. This is her time.
All right, go.
So Pat, he's just said it about Sue Storm, and to me, like there was a time where I didn't even really pay attention to Namor, right? Like
nobody does.
Yeah.
Disrespected. Yeah.
Literally the 4 of them when She-Hulk was there, all that kind of stuff. But to me, the first time that I've ever seen Namor and Sue Storm get together, I was like, no, that's like, no. Like, I made just so many gross, like, words that I couldn't, But the more that I read into it, I was kind of like, oh, crap. Like, she's actually in love. Like, she's for real, like, in it, And to me, I was kind of like, you know what, Reed? You deserve that. Because you're kind of a doink. Like, you don't pay attention to her. Like, you get into, like, he does not know how to multitask emotions. And Namor is that guy that can do that. I mean, obviously he has, like, other ulterior motives, but I was like, yeah, dudes, like, that's what can happen. You don't pay attention to your girl and she's giving you her all. She's gonna run away with an Atlantean.
A life lesson. There you go.
That is 100% true. That's 100% true. Yeah.
Aggressively saying this to any particular boy that might be listening to this. Because I haven't run away with an Atlantean.
Yes. Yes.
But that shook my world of the Fantastic Four because of the fact that I just thought Sue was just going to be written for Reed all the time. And she wasn't. So, that little like love triangle thing. And there was like a really close moment that she was really going to choose Namor. I was kind of like, okay, game changer. I think I grew up with comics just now. Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Is there a book that specifically highlights that? Sorry, did I miss that? Or
it's really just the Kirby books, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, you can check out Civil War. Remember in Civil War, where the Fantastic Four breaks up and Sue down to Atlantis? That was very, very close. She was almost like, "Yeah, I'm almost making my bed by coming here." So we don't know what happened. So
Yeah.
Sue Storm.
Sue Storm's the worst.
She is like various other characters. I choose me, so that's what's gonna happen. That was my 90210's reference for the day. Rob.
So it's no surprise I don't really have a lot of respect for Namor.
Jesus Christ, dude.
You should.
So I was trying to find. This is actually tough. I was trying to find. You said we had to have our favorite comic book moment, and this is tough because I was like I remember those old '60s. Cartoons. They were really just comic motion pictures with Namor, and that's I remember I first seeing him and all that stuff. And I was like, what's a really good story arc or a moment that involved Namor? And I was like, I had to go dig out my DC versus Marvel.
Oh, good one. Yeah, good one.
And I was like, what's the best moment that I can remember Namor being in? I was like, him versus Aquaman. And Namor is such a crappy character. Aquaman takes a whale and throws it on top of and kills Namor and destroys him by throwing a whale. One panel. Boom. Now you're immobilized. See you later, sucker. You suck. Aquaman, the true king of Atlantis.
Too noble to cheat. That's the thing.
Rob got all
Clearly haven't read any Namor.
No, he doesn't know anything. But it's fine. This is great. This is great. It's This is great.
It's funny that your argument
John and me are gonna bring this back up. Bring this plane back up. So we knew this was gonna happen. We knew this was gonna happen. All right.
That's a solid pick, man.
All right, John.
I'm pretty sure he merged with Namor.
Talk sports to asking Rob to talk about Namor. He clearly hasn't read anything with Namor in it.
No.
Oh, I was very transparent about that when we were talking about this on Thursday. Yeah. I was like,
full disclosure, when we announced this topic, Rob suggested 10 other topics for us to go.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I actually thought maybe Andre would support me because Andre's like, are we sure we want to do Namor? I'm like, exactly.
No, 100%
Stu
Namor.
held firm.
Yeah.
Stu had his Namor underoos on, and he was like, no, we are doing Namor.
I think he's underrepresented, underappreciated. So this is where his time's going to shine.
Yeah, well, now he was under a whale on that panel. So there you go.
Oof. John.
Can I shout out this scene here? The Imperious sex.
Wild. This is so wild.
Oh, God.
With Greg Land art. Okay, so Namor is great because I don't know why Rob
he doesn't discriminate.
Rob
doesn't know. It's fine. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what a Pierce Rex means. He doesn't know any of the context. Doesn't know. It's fine. He doesn't read any of the books.
Namor is like the biggest chop buster the Marvel Universe has right now. So I don't know why Rob is not identifying with this character.
Yeah. No, my point's gonna be 100% Rob, and we're gonna go. So
yeah. So I'm gonna go to the Illuminati series with Brian Michael Bendis. I forgot who did the art, but Namor just constantly, every time these guys get together and meet and make decisions on things, Namor just jumps in and busts their chops about it and goes like, why are you doing this? I just picked a specific moment, but it seems Sue Storm is coming up in this a lot. Mm-hmm. But it's basically what happens is, for some reason, they get onto the topic of Reed Richards saying Sue used to support him, and Namor basically busts his chops and says, well, you keep her in a cage and you need to give her attention because you're not giving her attention. And it's just and Reed Richards is like, no, I do. And he's like, no, you don't. And he's like, I've tried to take this girl from you and she loves you, but you're not doing it. And it's just hilarious, the exchange.
Yeah. Which issue of Illuminati did you choose, John?
This happens in issue 4, and then he follows up. Iron Man tries to like jump in and break things up. He's like, "Well, I've slept with Madame Mask," and Namor jumps in again and goes, "The girl who looks like Dr. Doom. Why would you sleep with anyone that looks like Dr. Doom?" And it's like he just does this throughout the whole series. He just jumps in and says just points out how ridiculous these guys are being.
Yeah.
And I had another moment, which is the World War Hulk thing. I don't know if Stu's gonna have that one or not, but
that's definitely it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's it's piggybacking John. I also went an issue of New Avengers Illuminati back in 2007, again with Bendis, and this is the one just before World War Hulk. And
it's like the Road to.
This is the Road to. It is the one issue Illuminati where it talks about how the Illuminati came together and who is part of this organization. So it is, the most powerful humans / mutants / whatever on the planet. It's Iron Man. It's Doctor Strange. It's Professor X. It is Black Bolt, Namor, and who am I missing? And Black Panther. So these 6 characters are running these things behind the scene to ensure that Earth survives. And this issue specifically is so Rob, which I recommend him reading because Rob doesn't read anything clearly that is good. It is an amazing book because he calls everyone out for their bullshit. He goes to Iron Man. He goes, you're talking about leadership? How many ex-criminals do you have in your organization? How many of these people do you have on your team that you trust? He goes to Professor X, I hear you have an assassin that goes around killing people, an assassin team, to basically calling out Wolverines. Like, you guys have all this crap running around. He goes to Tony Stark and just lays it out on the table going, you guys are making decisions that are not smart. You guys are not inviting Black Panther. And I'm glad he's not here to see you guys make these decisions, and we shouldn't include him because we don't want to sully him in these terrible decisions. And when Black Panther comes out, he's like, just leave, because you're not going to be happy with what these guys are doing. So much so, by the end of that book, you know, when they tried to throw Hulk off the planet, he goes, I oppose all of this. This does not make sense. You cannot throw. They all vote, and he's like, this will be your downfall. You throw the Hulk, and he is pissed.
I think for some reason Black Panther is not there for this vote.
He told him not to show up because he knew what was happening. He's like, I respect Black Panther. I have to get him out, because if Black Panther is here, he is also going to murder all these chumps. So much so that he's like, you guys have made a bad decision. Any part of the OG Defenders, which is like him, Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Doctor Strange as the original thing. In the same thing, he's like, you're a warrior, but I'm a king. So much so, it's like, I don't think you understand the ramifications of all of these decisions you're making, Tony, as to like, you make these decisions without thinking about the long-term ramifications. So Namor is truly a character that is imbalanced, but he is calling everyone out every single time for the misgivings, mistakes, and just saying, what are you guys doing? Like, yes, he's full of himself, but when it comes to his ability to say, guys, you're making the wrong decision, he is not afraid. He's not afraid to say,
he's even like, if anybody moves on Hulk, like, they're gonna have to go through me, and he proceeds to get in a brawl with Iron Man, and the rest of the guys have to break it up, and he's just like, you guys are wrong, and like, and leaves.
So he is someone who is loyal to a fault. Yes, he wears his heart on his sleeve, but to Andre's point, he has conviction. He is, in basketball term, your heat check guy. He believes in himself. He's going to nail every three that he gets. So Namor is a character that believes in what he's doing is correct. And sometimes that's the most dangerous character, and sometimes it's the best character, to have the true belief that you are right and no one can beat you. And sometimes that's a great teammate or someone to have on your side. So that is...
and also, there's a lot of parallels between him and Doom. But with Doom, he's the monarch of a plot of land, and his people are human. But then you have Namor, who Atlantis, they are not human. He is literally the leader and protector of a different species and a different kingdom. So he has to have balls of freaking brass that are huge, but he's the one guy that can back it up. And like you said, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's going to tell you when you're wrong, and he's going to put his fist in your face to prove it, So I think, yes, he is, I wouldn't say he's a villain, and I wouldn't say he's out for himself. He has the best interest of Atlantis, his kingdom, his people, and he's not going to take shit from any of those outside forces. So when he's written right, like in that moment, you really get the depth of his character,
to Andre's point, he's been invited to the Hellfire Club. He said no. Blackfire, he said no. It's not something I care about. Like him and Emma Frost had a thing. So he's in that term of, he understands the game. To John's point, dropped the picture of him kissing that fish. But just like Black Bolt, there are panels of Black Bolt. He's like, he is queen to Medusa, but he also has several other queens that he has to just get stuff done to get alliances and negotiate things for. So that's one of the things about being a ruler that most of the characters don't understand, that there are responsibilities that you have to do.
Like, it happens a lot, especially in Marvel, when it comes to groups that are just not human, right? Like you mentioned, like the humans, like Crystal had to marry Ronan just because, right? Like, she didn't really love Ronan, but she had to marry Ronan anyways, right? So like, it happens a lot, and a lot of them are really, really like, nation driven, right? So
it's no different than past history, right?
Yeah, right.
With
Talking about like
France marrying people from the UK and England and
but in the Marvel universe,
Rob,
we're not talking about individual countries. We're gonna talk about like the entire like species, right?
Yeah. So
I'm surprised though. I thought he had a 2 intelligence. He's smart. He sounds like much smarter than a 2.
But
hey, if he was on the scale with a Chopbuster level, it would definitely be equal to Rob's Chopbuster level. So I don't know why you're hating on your boy.
I don't think Rob's just read enough, so it's fine. He's gonna do some deep divings and he's gonna maybe change.
That's all.
Like, again,
buy a Namor action figure. It'll make you feel better about it.
Buy 2.
Trying to sell that?
To be fair, I think Rob, we talked a couple weeks ago reading Fantastic Four. There's an awesome panel where like Sue goes to Atlantis and she becomes, Queen of Atlantis and negotiates with Namor. And Namor is in this book and he is awesome. And his negotiation tactic with the old rulers is like, let me negotiate with this guy, and just throws a trident in his chest. He's like, negotiation over. I win. It's like, that was it. You're like, oh yeah, Namor, you know what to do. Like, it was awesome. He's like, this is my negotiation. Your death.
But guys, I actually just because of what Andre was saying as well, I just think that's what makes really good villains is when they don't think they're a villain. Like the whole thing is just, I'm just trying to do the right thing. Whether or not your people's philosophy in this is it's a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing. It's just the thing to do to make whatever like this holistic eagle eye point of view work. Same thing with Thanos, same thing with Doom.
And to be fair, Sue's reciprocating and leading him on. Sue just say no, but she keeps on going back. So you can't blame Namor for Sue just laying down the trail and be like, hey man, there's things going on that Sue is not completely
not completely innocent about this.
Yeah, completely innocent about this. So it's kind of, he's not completely in the wrong, but he's not exactly right at it. But Andre, go.
I think on that note, though, I really think that Namor, there's been only a very few instances where he's done something that I believe would put him in the villain category. See, he's not a power seeker, right? Because he has the power, right? And he's not doing it just for like sadistic or cruel reasons. Like where Dr. Doom has no altruism in him. He's protecting his land, but he does crave more power, just like most other villains. But I think there's only been a couple spots for me with where Namor has pushed the line, and that was in that recent Avengers that came out, I think this year or last year. And basically he goes against the Avengers and he goes after Tiger Shark and Stingray, and he freaking puts together these like the image I post up. He at that point he kind of tripped out and went a little bit, I would say, evil. But even when he has joined forces with guys like Norman Osborn and stuff like that, he's done it because of his place with Atlantis. And he has done things for the protection of Atlantis. Like when he had a treaty with Doom because Atlantis had fallen, it was because he had nowhere else to go. Nobody else would take him, right? So I think there's villains have a stroke of deception, power hunger, animosity, just and evil. But I don't think you could put many of those things in Namor's motivation.
And to your point, Andre, to piggyback, you're right. Namor has joined the Cabal not for power, but just to keep the interests of Atlantis in check. He's like, I'll join the Cabal, which is clearly not a good place to be. But it's like, I just need to know that Atlantis is safe. So he was like, I'll join you guys. I won't tell anyone, but just make sure that no one touches Atlantis. This is what's happening. But also turn to you, Andre, your argument about power and what he is. You can look back at Secret Wars 9, because he has a tumultuous relationship with Black Panther. But Black Panther gives him the Infinity Gauntlet, and he turns to Black Panther and is like, don't look at me. We both know I can't be trusted. So, like, he understands how cocky he is. He also understands, by the way, that much power in my hands, I'm a little too much over all and off. So don't give me the Infinity Gauntlet. As opposed to Cap, who was like, I got this, and used it, and clearly it screwed up at one point in time. But yeah, to your point, Andre, he straddles the line, and I think Marvel with the MCU can use him in various ways, which is good and bad. He may not have his own movie. He may be like the Hulk, which is a good supporting character, because to your point, he doesn't really have any bad guys. But we're always waiting for a good writer to give him his due and give him, there's the years with the X-Men. So this is oh God, Colossus. This is.
He was a jerk when he was part of the Phoenix Five.
Yes, he was a big jerk. No, 100%. He blew up Wakanda. So to your point, Pat, he did go a little far.
He was under control of something else, though.
The Phoenix Force. So that's also another thing that is, a problem. As we're rounding down, does anyone else have any additional moments to share about Namor? Rob is quiet in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
He's gonna feel
You mentioned it.
Read some Namor comics.
Joey, go ahead, and then we'll get John. Go ahead.
No, I just said that I'm disappointed we haven't made fun of the wings.
Oh, we tried.
We can't because he's a mutant, and mutants are different. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Mutants are
making
mutants.
fun of his,
Yeah.
making fun of Angel for his regular wings. You can't.
I know. It's just that's the thing that threw me off the most.
He's not a Morlock. Like, those guys are really bad, like, shape. But, like, he's not. If you saw a person with little wings on their feet that could fly, you wouldn't say, ew, I'm disgusted. You'd be like, can you go fly, get me something food? Or can you?
No, you know what I would do? I would buy
like,
a pair of Jordan.
with,
I'd be like, can't wear these.
Now with COVID-19, it'd be amazing to just fly wherever you wanted to go. And be like, yo, can you fly, give me some pizza? Be like, I would be all over this.
Yeah, the little wings on his ankles flipping around, and as he's hovering,
he would just wear flip flops. That's it. Everywhere he goes, or beach shoes.
He's only sexy from ankle up. I can't.
It's a deal breaker.
I was like, you can't.
Deal breaker. Do you have ankle wings?
Yes.
Yeah. To be fair, there are some women who probably be all on top of that, or guys on top of that. Namor is flexible either way. So
goes out on a date. Hey, come back to my place for a nightcap. Takes off his socks in bed, and you're like, oh, I'm out.
This is over.
Put those socks back on.
No, but there was a long period of time he didn't have the ankle wings. He got them back in like the 90s, but there was a long time where he lost them.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Yeah. He lost his ability to fly without them.
Everyone has different disabilities or different things, and we'll respect them as they are. So that is what we're going to go. John, you had something to add?
Oh, I just wanted, you mentioned it before, the whole him joining the Cabal thing, and then Thanos, and the guys would go to worlds and torture the heroes and stuff, and Namor decides to just go ahead of time and like kind of mess up their plans, and then he goes toe to toe with Thanos, which is a pretty big kind of power gap. I don't know if anyone has specifics on the exact level of difference between Thanos and Namor.
It's weird because Namor can stand up face to face with the Hulk thing and the Hulk, so he can take punches from the thing and just walk it off. So it's difficult to assess his power because
toe to toe with the Avengers, like he really is a powerhouse.
But he loses the fight, and he knows he's going to lose that fight, so he kind of is like sacrificing.
I don't know if he believes he's going to lose it, but he does lose. But I think he believes he's going to win. But also, the Atlanteans kind of have a longer lifespan, so like he can live to like 160 years old. So he kind of has this weird thing where that's why he's able to fight in World War I and II, because he can just
definitely ages differently, for sure.
Yeah. So I think to Rob and Andre's point, to the writer and who gives him the right dialogue and an opportunity, I think Namor is at least more of an interesting character than some of the other Marvel characters we have right now that are just there cashing them checks. So I think there's lots of opportunity for people to do something different. But that we're wrapping this up because clearly we could go a little bit more about Namor, but other people are saying
surprising.
Right?
It's
surprising.
I think
shout out to the Chip Zdarsky Invaders run as well, 12-issue run, where Namor is both kind of protagonist and antagonist.
Yeah.
It's really well done. It was also on my list, but didn't get to it.
Yeah, the Phoenix 5 Namor just taking care of Wakanda was on my list too. It's an awesome. He just given the full power, but he goes crazy. But I think but that's the thing. Like Andre mentioned, he can go toe to toe with Doom and Black Panther, but there is a mutual respect for all three of those world leaders, and you can totally, and Andre can point to it too. Doom doesn't respect just anyone. And Doom has to, and same with Black Panther. Like those are two leaders that have to understand what Namor is going through, and to garner respect from two of those guys is a big deal. Like they don't look at everyone the same. But I don't know if Andre, you have a last point to go.
No, that's perfect, man. Like I think that's the thing. Namor may be not liked, but he is definitely respected, and he is somebody that I think that if push came to shove, I think most of those heroes would rather Namor be on their side than on the sidelines.
And that's great. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. If you are in the Markham GTA area, please visit the owners and proprietors of Heroes World, which is both John and Andre. Visit the store. They are open social distancing. Again, if you want to buy stuff online, you can connect to sales@heroesworld@gmail.com. Is that what I'm? Is that?
Yeah, sales.heroesworld@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where else can they
And
find
Joey,
you on social media? And then we'll get out to the people. Go, John.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, jho.heroesworld, and on the Facebook and answering the emails and stuff like that.
Andre?
Heroes World Online is the Facebook and where you're probably watching this on the YouTube channel. So check it out. Post up your comments and stuff, and also suggestions. If there's any topics you want us to tackle, we'll give it a shot.
Rob, thank you for being a good sport today. You do a tremendous job on social, responding back to people. So don't worry, you'll boost your gold joy back into shape. The greatest hero.
It can't all be a love fest. You need to have that counterpoint.
The greatest story never told. Rob, where can we find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram, it's Rob Gadet. And on Tuesday, John and I have been doing this Instagram TV thing, Tuesday afternoons or Tuesday evenings. So definitely check our social media for that, because we're pumping up the episodes before they drop on Wednesday. Last week we had a fun chat about 80s movies. So
awesome.
We'll see what happens this week.
We're gonna leave Joey for last, the best for last. Pat, you're in the stores.
No, still, yeah. I'm still just hanging out at the store. I'm trying
busting
to
my
stay
chops
social.
in the store.
Busting John's chops.
So
buying toys.
If you want,
Johnson of Heroes World.
Pardon?
He's one of the gym.
Yeah. Gym tan and laundry. Okay, so yeah, Pat can be found on typically Wednesdays, but we'll see how things go if you want to converse with him. Now, finally, special guest star at the end, Joey. Where do you want us to? What do you want to share with us before you leave?
She's got a new show.
It is so easy to find me, especially these days. So guys, I'm hosting a new show for Heroes Manufactured. If you guys have Amazon Prime, you can see the documentary there. And right now on YouTube, we're streaming it for free. So Heroes Manufactured was such a great documentary for creators of comics and creators of anything pop culture related in the comics world, especially here in the GTA. And now we're doing a season 2, and I am hosting the Comics Vault session, and every bi-weekly I think is what we're going to do. We already have 2 episodes out, and thank you for all the viewers that have already been tuning in. Like, I checked yesterday, we already have like 5K on episode 2. I have no idea who's watching this, but thank you guys. You can find me at the Captain Canary on Instagram. I'm very horrible with Twitter, so let's not even give that out. I also, special thanks to Hero for me. Honestly, you guys, always great conversation with you guys. You guys are the only reason I would ever move to Markham, Ontario.
Yeah.
But really awesome. Met so much good people there. So shout out to Pat, who was here, and Jessica Archer as well. I love your art, girl. So
awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you here. We look forward to having you again if you want to come back on. But thanks everyone today. Hopefully we gave you a little perspective on Marvel's underappreciated character. I love it. There we go, Pat. Underappreciated. I think he's the ace in the hole, as you would say, the wild card. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Be safe, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.